What is going on, Panther Lair? We are back talking about the Pittsburgh Panthers loss on the road to the Florida State Seminoles this past Wednesday. Now, I do want to take some time here to detail out how the Florida State defense played Jalen Lowe differently on drives than Ishmael Leggett, and I already kind of did that in the very first video here for Damian Dunn, but I think this is very important because I think while it's obvious that teams do not want to allow Jalen Lowe to have the ball in his hands and pick them apart, sometimes you always can't tell why and the effect that that's having on everybody else. So here, I think this is like pretty good being able to look at two sequences relatively close to each other that I think highlight that. So in this first one here, we're going to watch Jalen Lowe as he comes out of crosses half court. He gets like one of those early drag screens, kind of like in a, I don't know, sort of semi-transition situations or high ball screen, whatever you want to call it. He gets the mismatch. Again, we know the Panthers are hunting mismatches in these ball screen situations, and he gets downhill. But you'll see the inclination here of Damian Dunn's defender is to not allow this direct line of sight pass to kill them. Right, so he retreats, may have like had a foot in the paint for a second, foot in the lane for a second, but then he goes back out, and by the time he tries to recover on Lowe getting downhill, it really doesn't matter, and Lowe pretty much has like an unabated look at the rim. Now see here, just like 2 minutes later, this is going to be a very similar situation. Ishmael Leggett's going to try to attack from a very similar place on the floor. There's going to not be any help under the rim in this situation either, because Papakante is going to come clear out some of this space. And as Leggett drives behind this, you're going to see this defender here in the corner is going to help completely off of Lowe, who again is not shooting the ball great, but at the same time, this is usually not something that teams are willing to do. And he just completely sells out on the fact that Leggett is going to try to get a layup, step in, maybe even take a charge. Now, Leggett's not really able to even handle the ball here, and this ends up being a turnover. But these are the kind of things when you look at where Pitt is after 17 games now, teams have seen a lot of film, and they're just not allowing Leggett and Dunn to beat them in the paint with going one-on-one off of 2 feet. That's just like not what they're going to allow them to do, where Lowe is much more dynamic with the ball in his hands, and he can get everybody else involved, and that's really a danger, as well as get himself involved. And I think just the teams are loading up a little bit differently. That definitely affects spacing when you talk about Dunn and Leggett with the ball in their hands versus Lowe with the ball in his hands. And I think this is something we're going to continue to see throughout the rest of ACC play and for the rest of the season until the Panthers show that they can adjust to this.